All right. Check, check, 1, 2. Here we are. We in. Yes, indeed. Hi, everyone. How's everybody doing out there? Back with another stream. Weekly yesterlng beat making vibes. I've been having a great time in Ableton 11. And we'll continue today. I think the upgrade was a really great decision for anyone who didn't know out there to upgrade to 11. But because I also plan on upgrading to 12, it's like I've got to get 11 first. I actually didn't really look properly into whether you can just jump straight from 10 to 12, but my research suggested that you couldn't, yeah, which is fine. But anyway, welcome in. Let's see now. So we've got Ableton up here. As per usual, don't really have a plan today. Just might start sort of whipping something up and see where it goes. There is a particular technique I want to see if I can figure out today, though, and that's using hybrid reverb, which we did the last stream on. You can use that to make whipping sounds with the reverb, and I'd love to figure that out. So I think before anything else, all we really have to do is just record something. Filter's quite low, isn't it? There we go. Some chords like that. We'll start with this. You replied yesterday with that saying, what's my tempo? I was really thinking that they'd forgotten and that she was going to say, oh god, yeah, 2, 1, 2, 3. Sort of like, you know, a kind of like pushy house tempo. Yesters. I quite like that. I don't think anybody's ever called me that before, Sporty. You can claim that as your own. How are you doing? How are things? How's life? How are you? What's going on? Yeah, that's a much better tempo. Let's arm this recording. Let's put these chords down. Drift. Maybe edit the sound later. Yeah. Sorry, I should say Luke and Tom. Is Luke the main guy? So just let me. No. Tom. All right. Loop on. Just fiddle around with the sound a little bit. Want some reverb. Good, you? I am. I'm very good. Really excited for Christmas. We're having it up here, just the two of us. I'm really looking forward to that. Not much going on. Planning on going out maybe at 11:08. That sounds kind of cool. Just out for like a walk or out to do anything particular. Going on a walk is great. Well into that. That last thing you said, just let me have a little look into that because I should have. Or leave it running as it is. Just because it's in Geo's handover, so I'll change it on her. Interesting. Handover. I've got a plugin that I use to try and minimize background noise. We've got the 5K to spend, but obviously I'm not like pushing it too more yet. There's only so much I can do about that. Yeah. You know, it's all good. A walk, I know some good chill spots, so let's pop around some cool places. Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's just a nice thing to do, and it's sort of just sort of nice and chill, have a chat, have a hang, just wander around. Yeah, walking is great. All about walks. this. Uh, Mic audio just went very glitchy, but I wasn't at the start. Yeah, mic's gone very weird. Well, permanently or just temporarily.
Oh, congratulations.
All I did was. All I did was that. So has that sorted it out? Because we don't want that. Do let me know, Sporty, and thanks for looking out. Appreciate that. Um, Something I should really get into is actually monitoring my mic. I don't ever do it when I do game streams. When I do these kind of streams, I never do. So maybe just quickly, I will check. Yeah, I can do that. Does that make it echo there? Sounds alright to me. It's normal now. Okay, interesting. So yeah, there's a plugin I've been using on my microphone when I do these streams that's very good at cutting out background noise. Yeah, so it will go echoey just for a second whilst I monitor it. It's because Sporty, like, so I do my beat streams off a Mac. When I do game streams, it's on the PC. But the beat streams I use a Mac for because I use a Mac to do music processing because Macs are like so much better at audio processing. It's a whole thing. But anyway, so yeah, Macs don't work in the same way as PCs though when it comes to processing audio. So you have to actually kind of feed its audio back into itself, which is quite weird. It's gonna be quite annoying when you're doing beat streams and certain things. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's see what we can do with these chords. How's it going with you as well, and like making some music and stuff?
Yeah.
So it's just really great anytime you post like an idea of yours in the in my Discord. It's just really great to know that you're sort of getting on with it and enjoying it and stuff. Very cool. Anyway, so we get up Ableton's hybrid reverb, and allegedly, if I play around with the size knob, you hear that? I can make these effects. That's an interesting noise, isn't it? Well, how would I even really use this? Have to be really quick with it because if you end up just slowly increasing the size of a reverb, you'll hear it affect the pitch, and that's the way that reverbs work, essentially by bouncing frequencies off each other. Phoebes Tarantulas, hello, welcome in. I do hope all's well with you, my darling. Love the little emote as well. Are those particular emotes that you just get on YouTube, by the way? You always come in with a really great one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Sporty, I was absolutely loving just chopping things up for ages, and then after I dropped those last two tracks, I just lost inspiration. So I made a little piece of my instrument myself. Yeah, fair enough. I've got to say, music is a difficult thing to keep inspiration up with. It can be very fleeting. It's like, I get these sort of like urges to put down a musical idea, and it's like, all about it. But then there's so much more to it to actually make that musical idea presentable, and like that can be when music's really difficult to sort of retain that inspiration because it's just like, I've done like the fun bit, and now there's like days of just like grunty work to do to actually make this something that I can do anything with. That's why I'm so keen on the notion of AI mixing. I mean, mixing can be fun and a creative process and all of that. But if you get something that can just do all of the boring stuff for you, and then like you can sort of influence the decisions. It's like if you just get it to kind of basically mix it, and then you listen back and you're like, actually, I want that snare to be louder, and you can affect it afterwards. But it will just do all the EQing, do the compression, do the panning just for you automatically. That would just be really swell. You know what I mean? Yeah, did something with a track from Silence of the Lambs. Very cool. Actually, was that something you posted in a Discord? That's ringing a bell. Like you sampled it or something. not fun on BandLab. Trust me. Yeah, I mean that's really where Ableton shines because it would still be a stretch to say like mixing is fun in Ableton, but it is sort of a bit more intuitive and a bit easier to do. Um, anyway, so this is what I wanted to play around with. Is this basically just really quick automation on that, and you can just get a whip effect. But like, what do I even want to do with this whip effect? Maybe if I unloop it. Also like when the original notes aren't going, it's there's nothing feeding into the reverb, so you can't really like it'd be great to maybe like sample that. Like, how would that do as a snare? Do we think? Maybe if I could record some automation in. Um, let's uh, let's see how this goes. Oh, ah, wait. Uh, okay, so this is the first time that Ableton 11 does something different to 10. I've been loving 11, and for the record, this isn't a criticism of 11, but moving from 10 to 11, I knew there were going to be certain things that, like, this does this differently to how I'm used to it. And this is one of them, recording automation. Uh, Play it. Okay, that doesn't record the automation. That's what I thought would be next. I mean, I might just have to draw it in. But will this even be quick enough? That needs to be quicker. So let's add some more lines. Also, I really want to record this in specifically because I don't want this to sound like, robotic automation. I want it to be, like maybe slightly off. There was I remember what tune, but there's a tune of mine when I recorded the automation in, and I actually got some really interesting things going because I'd recorded the automation in specifically. It might be in that beat of mine. Uh, God, I've forgotten what it's called. It's on beat tape. Wait, let me get it up. Um, all right, hang on. Just searching this up on the old YouTubes. There we are. Yesterlng beat tape, classic album of 2023. Uh, it's that one, isn't it? Yeah. So let me get this up on the screen. Where is it? There. You hear that sort of like weird kind of eerie noise in the background. That was done with automation. And I kind of achieved that by recording the automation in and not by actually drawing it in like I did just there. So I really need to figure out how to record automation. I might have to look at YouTube. Um, Next time I put anything out, expect a lot of modality. Yes, cool. I'm into that. Can't mess around with it. Good stuff. All right, Sporty's off. Have a great walk. Have a nice time, mate. And thanks so much for popping in. Lovely to see you here. Out of interest, just quickly before you go, did you see that I was streaming on Twitter or Instagram? So I tried an Instagram post today to see if that'll get anybody else here. Um, which would be I don't know. Anyway, if you're still there, I'd just be interested to know which one you saw. Anyway, so recording automation. Because if I hit record over this, it will just record over the audio, which is not what we want. But maybe. What was it? You can get a lanes up in Ableton 11. Maybe that's how you do it. Right. So I think that is just recorded over the audio, which is absolutely not what we want. So maybe if we open the lanes. Oh, maybe you have automation lanes. This is starting to confuse me now. Gypsy, 1985, welcome in. Yeah, been a while since I've seen you on stream. How are things? How's life? How are you doing? Um, Not bothered with Twitch for a while, but used popping in there when I was streaming. Yeah, very cool. Um, yeah, Gypsy, lovely to see you. I hope life's good. I've this year been streaming beat making here on YouTube. I kind of like decided I wanted to keep. I don't know if you remember, but I used to do beat making streams on Twitch and game streams on Twitch. And this year I decided I wanted to separate the two. So YouTube is exclusively just for making beats and music stuff, and Twitch is exclusively for gaming things. And I've like much preferred that system. Also, YouTube automatically records all of and saves all of your VODs, which I found very useful. Um, I think there is a way to do that on Twitch, but it's better on YouTube for multiple reasons. But anyway, yeah, how you been? How's life? I do hope all's well, and I hope looking forward to Christmas. I certainly am. Right now, I think to open these lanes, I think I have to come out of automation mode. Right. Okay. Yeah. Show take lanes. So what are those buttons? That's Alt, Command, and U. Right. Okay. Yeah. There you go. So they're my chords. But my automation is only just on automation is just on one of them. Now this is where it gets difficult. So take the chords, right? Uh, there's got to be a quick way to do this. We drag these up, so the chords are in there. Is the automation still there? Yes, they are. And then if we just delete these lanes, okay, fine. Because this is really the special thing about Ableton 11, and this is what a lot of producers were really stoked about when 11 came out, is that just like in Logic, there's I don't really know if it's ever really been a war between Logic and Ableton as to which is the best DAW, because I just see them as two great bits of two great programs, but for like slightly different things. Like you can do anything in Logic in Ableton, and you can do anything from Ableton in Logic as well. But Ableton is just sort of geared more towards like programmers and beat makers like me, whereas I see Logic as being more geared towards um, people that work more with like recording live sound. And Logic does that very well, and Ableton does that very well, but I do think Logic does it slightly better. But something that Ableton users really wanted from Logic was this notion of takes and take lanes, which Ableton sorted out with Ableton 11, and to much aplomb and celebration. Anyway, now, again, there must be a quicker way of doing what I just did. I'll have to look into it. But I now should have my chords and then this whip effect in lieu of a snare. Let's have a listen. Okay, that kind of works. Okay, what I'm trying to do is try to have my chords going and use that whipping sound as a snare. We like to try things out on this channel. So in the drum rack layer, I could just record um, just a kick pattern. Let's have a go at that. um, yeah, let's have that. I wish though that once you dragged a lane away and it was empty, it would just delete the lane. That seems like a bit unnecessary. So just take that off monitoring. Put that right at the top of the beat. That kind of works. Sounds a bit weird. Like I don't know if I could actually properly make use of this as a technique instead of snares. Or maybe if I just add in a quiet snare, it would help and make it sound a bit more normal. Um, oh, that's cool. Good. Last time you saw me, I was playing Hollow Knight. Wow, that was a while ago. I had such a great time streaming that game. Funny enough, Hollow Knight recently came up in conversation on Discord because, I mean, I think Hollow Knight is one of the best games released in recent years. I mean, obviously, I haven't played all of them, hardly played any of them actually, but I just thought Hollow Knight was just so great and so vibey. I absolutely loved it. Music, aesthetic, whatever. I just thought it was a really good game. Um, and back in something like 2019 or maybe 2018. So this is before I streamed or before I like got into streaming and gaming really and any of that. Like they announced the sequel, a game called Silk Song. Gypsy, maybe you're aware of this. I don't know how much of a fan you are, but like, yeah, they were they were like properly going to release the second of that game in 2020. Obviously, COVID messed up like everything in like all manners of life. So it's not like I'm blaming anyone, but it's years on now. We're still waiting for that second Hollow Knight. I mean, I want them to get it right, so I want them to take as long as they need, but also seems a little excessive at this point, like 5, 6 years after the announcing. So it's like obviously they wouldn't have announced it until they had an engine and they had some stuff programmed. At least they must have been like halfway through the game. You know, and in the advert there was like footage of it and everything. So they must have been fairly down the line when they actually announced the second Hollow Knight, and I just really want it. I just really want it. I want it in my life. That's what I want. And I haven't decided yet if I'm going to stream it or not. I loved streaming the first Hollow Knight, but I'm like such a fan of the game. Like I'm never going to stream a Zelda game because I like the game so much that like I kind of just want to enjoy them like just away from streaming life. So I might do that with Hollow Knight 2. We'll see. Um, but yeah, Gypsy. I mean, um, I actually the whole yesterling thing. It was I got into to stream to music making first, and then sort of decided to kind of utilize that as a streaming vehicle as well, which has been great, and I've really enjoyed and worked out really well. And for the record, led me to meeting my future wife because I'm engaged to a certain streamer called Phoebes Watt. Don't know if you're aware of Phoebes or not. But that's somebody I met through Twitch later on, and we live together now. And she's sitting right behind me, and I just think it's so cool that I met my wife through Twitch. Who would have thought? Absolutely sick. Um, anyway, yeah, I've now forgotten completely what I'm saying. So I'm thinking about is how much I love my wife. Well, to be wife. Um, soon, cannot wait. Oh yeah, no, that's what I was saying. Yeah, like yesterling was always a music thing. And before I got into um, like doing music stuff on stream. It was like I had to learn how to stream, and that's where games came in, were really helpful. So I've been taking quite a bit of a break from the game stream thing. Moved in with the missus, moved to a different part of the country. So I've been sort of like focused on like work stuff and life things. There she is, Phoebes Tarantulas. That's her. Gypsy meet Phoebes. Phoebes meet Gypsy. Um, yeah, so I've been like focusing a lot this year more on like getting settled up here and yeah life things and work and blah de blah. But things are settling and feeling good, and I'll be getting back into streaming again soon. Game streaming, I mean. But I've been really enjoying doing music streams, like I said, just on YouTube. Um, anyway, that's a kind of brief rundown. But it's really cool to see you again, Gypsy. So you're still streaming and all of that as well. I do hope so. I remember you were quite a good streamer. Um, anyway, right. So I was saying that. So maybe. So we've got a beat now. It kind of works, but I can't separate these whips from the chords, which means I can't actually process the whips as a snare. And anything that I do to change the sound of the whips will change the sound of the chords. So I think I'll have to put a snare in anyway. Just these four, right? Yeah, do you know what? Already that kind of just sounds a bit more stable, a bit better. That works. I mean, I don't necessarily like that particular snare, so I think let's just get a nicer snare up here. Let's have a look through the snares here in Ableton. Yeah, it doesn't have to be anything flashy. Yeah, that works. Like, that's more of a kind of like clappy vibe than a snare. Mm. I think it needs to be a snare though. Yeah, that sort of just like solidifies it. To me that just makes the beat sound more normal. I think is the term I'm going to go for. And thanks for the congratulations, Gypsy. Yeah, we're both very happy. Um, it's been a bit of a slog actually organising the wedding, but it's going to be great, and I can't wait. Um, right, so okay, so we're using this whip idea. I mean, we've put a snare in anyway, but I think really all that needs to happen now is to like draw attention away from these like strange whip sounds. We're gonna have to put some chords down, and we can do that. We'll just find like a nice yeah, nice keys patch. Make this a bit bigger so we can actually see what they're called. That doesn't need to be so big. Oh, actually, no, we don't want chords. What we want is a bass. So that's absolutely what I mean. Um, Hi, you were still masked as well. Yeah, do you know what? When I do game streams, I still do the mask thing. Um, but I guess you wouldn't have been around when I started using the mask as like a green screen thing. So now if you see a game stream, instead of just me in like a balaclava or face mask, what it was, I actually have like a kind of moving pattern on my mask, which I think is quite cool. Quite a cool idea. Um, um, okay. I can assure you that my future wife has seen my face, and I do sometimes take the mask off. Um, okay, yeah. Well, streaming is difficult. Streaming is difficult. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of mental space. I think that's the thing that I found the most surprising about streaming. Getting into it was actually just how much mental space it takes up. It's exhausting, and I'm not even just talking about the I'm I'm just not talking sorry, I'm not talking just about the act of actual streaming, like keeping a channel going, thinking about what you're doing, and dealing with the social side of it and all that. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to it. And it can be like quite mentally draining and exhausting. So, I've been quite an advocate of taking breaks from stream, like, people that strictly do like multiple streams a week. That's just a lot. And if they can handle it, then great, good for them. It is a lot though. I find it a lot. Like even just doing my weekly beat making stream, takes up a lot of mental space. So I totally understand anybody unpacking streaming in Gypsy. I totally get it. I absolutely understand. Um, Wait, Phoebes, what do you mean so-called streamer friends? What are you talking about? Oh, that's in response to a Gypsy. Yes, yeah, absolutely, massive SMH moment. Yeah, and yeah, it's a shame as well because I found a lot of the streaming community, not all of it unfortunately, but a lot of it to be very supportive and more like a kind of networky vibe. So yeah, when there are people that are kind of lame about it, it's just really disappointing, very disappointing. Because yeah, it's like 95% such a nice community of people, and I've made plenty of good friends there, and like I said, found a wife, and it's just that's absolutely sick. But yeah, I'm sorry you got grief. I'm sorry to hear that. That is uncool. Um, what am I doing here next? Oh yes, finding a bass sound. Just put a bass down, just to kind of, I think, anchor this little musical idea. Yeah, so far we've got some pretty bland chords, a weird whipping effect, and just very boring beat. So maybe we can just sort of spruce things up a little bit with a nice bass. Something like that. Although, what's going on with that pitch bend? Something like that. Um, so let's get the actual instrument up. You do a pitch envelope here. Right, so we've taken that off. Maybe down another octave. Maybe up an octave. See how that sounds. Kick drum is in a really, really odd place. Like so close to the snare. Maybe I saw that. Is it there? Yeah, it is. I think that's our bass line, something like that. Quite busy, because I think musically the point of this bass line I'm putting down is to detract a bit from the sort of slightly weirdness of this beat. There you go. also the automation, right, on these chords, the automation on the reverb, I think still needs to be even quicker. Like, get rid of these. Make that like wildly fast. Because you're also hearing like a kind of little, just sort of like pre-note, like to the whip. How's that first one sound? You hear that? You're hearing a b-duh as opposed to just a duh. So let's do them here. Actually, can we move that along? We do that. Grab that. Remove it. So, but also this, you know, I was a bit too keen here. I want that to be like just right on where the snare actually is. Same with this one. Look at how early it is. Come on, Yesti, you can do better than that now. Do better than that now. Yeah, playing. Rid of that. And just move this this point up so it's really close. And yeah, same with this one. You go. On with you. Right, so now, if you can you hear what I'm trying to avoid is a sort of like just pre-note to this whip. Tell you what I might do is I might get rid of all of this automation. Instead, copy and paste this. So it looks like what we really need. Copy the automation from there to there. And yeah, paste it. This might be a bad move because it might mean that the whips will sound the same, but it also might be good. So listen. Okay, yeah, that does sound a bit less obvious. Also, something I want to do with these chords is put on a kind of not really sure how to describe this properly, but I mean describe this in words. That kind of effect, a sort of like pulsing vibe. See how that turns out? See, what I've done is just basically made the thing sound a bit more interesting by being a bit more excitable. You hear that kick drum pattern now. A little bit filtered. think I need more time to play with. Maybe. Maybe 2, maybe 4. I feel like 4 would be too long for an idea. So let's go with 2. I'm just going to play around until I find a line I like, but I'm nearly there. You're opening a great line of support. Put it down. Can always edit it in a bit if I go off it, but I think this is the one. No, let's actually arm the recording. That's what we need to do. And yeah, right, I just need to edit one note there. Get the loop going. Nope, the whole thing, please. Hear what happens if we make these chords more wide. Again, remember, anything we do to the chords is going to affect the weird whipping effect, which now that like this kind of musical idea is there, I just feel is less and less necessary. But you know, it's always fun to try new things. So if I make the chords nice and wide, it's also going to make the whips nice and wide, which might not be nice. It might be horrible and wide. So we will have to see. Anyway, let's try it. So got a stereo imager. I used the Waves one. God, what's it called again? The S1. There it is. So stereo imager. Here we are. This also gets stereo imager on this line, make it not as wide. Now, something else I want, something that I like to do, you might recognize from my music, is I like to put percussion samples on instead of doing like hi-hats and whatnot. So let's see what we can find that will go with this. There is a pack I've got called Latin percussion, and maybe there's something in here. Moss. That sound. That's interesting. What if that was twice as fast? Interesting. Not quite what I'm after. What's annoying about these samples is that they're kind of like, you know, good, useful samples, but they're not very rhythmical. If you're looking for like a nice sort of percussive rhythm to use, they're not the one. Like, that's just on the beat. Let's make this twice as fast though. Maybe if we actually just take that. That could be what I'm after. Yeah. Is that good? Phoebes Tarantia says, is whip work in progress? It is to me. Well, when I've been saying whip, I've been talking about a noise that I've been making in this stream. And does it say it on screen somewhere? I don't know, but yeah, that's what I've been meaning by if we solo it, this sound. You hear that noise? I'm using reverb to make that noise, which is a little trick that I'm not sure how useful it would be, but one that I wanted to explore this stream. So yeah, in this context, that's what I mean by whip. I don't think I've ever used it to mean work in progress though, but that's mostly because I'm one of those people that starts doing something and then just finishes it. I don't really. It's like rare for me to have a work in progress. You know what I mean? Also, this has got to be panned out of the way. Yes, I can imagine. I can imagine. Beef strengths, my darling. Ugh. Um, I need to do something with this thing. Yeah, yeah, totally. Um, yeah, that's the freelance vibe. You just start doing something, you just keep going until you literally collapse. I need to make these percussion things just like slightly less. I don't know. Oh, yeah, boom. That's one of our dogs. Getting the attention of the wife because he'd had enough on the sofa. It's alright, I think. It's viable. I think I'm going to try doing that with a filter. Just see if I can just like soften it a little bit. Let's solo this. You hear how sharp that noise is? Don't want to make it distance though, but maybe if I filter it but then turn it up. Tiny bit of resonance, but then it's bringing the sharpness back, but it still needs to cut through a little bit. Else to do with this beat. We've tried this whip thing. Might work better on samples. Let's just try that quickly. Get... Need like an audio thing. I don't know, is there any vocal samples in this? Loops. One shot. Vocals. Stab orchestra. That's quite it's quite a big sample. It's like quite a big noise. So we're just saying this. This is just experimental. I don't think I'm going to be using this in the beat here. Get the hybrid reverb going. What's difficult is you have to do it after the actual noise. There has to be something going through the reverb. How does it sound with the beat? No, completely up to you. But yeah, interesting technique. I'll have to sort of like live with that for a bit and just think about how I could actually utilize that. It's weird to even call it a technique. You're just like just very quickly automating a parameter, which is just creating a kind of like weird noise. Um, but yeah, using it as a snare was the idea I wanted to go with today. But now that the whole like actual beat is there, you're just losing that technique entirely. It just might as well not be there. Um, if you want to hear that, let's see if it makes any difference. I don't know. It does actually. It's subtle, but it does to me. It does make quite a big difference not having it there. It'd be interesting to if I heard that without knowing that the kind of like whip reverb thing is going on, what I'd think, would I be like, oh, that's a really great, interesting sounding snare. I wonder how they did that. Or would I just not even notice it at all? It kind of just sounds like there's just sort of reverb on the snare, and it's quite a sort of like deep one. Let's get that EQ brings out the whips a little bit. You want to take out quite a lot of that like high mid area. This is good. I like it. Thanks so much, Gypsy. Yeah, really appreciate that. Yeah, most of these streams are just sort of like, yeah, make like a little beat, a little bit of music, but using like a particular idea as a jump off. So I'm glad you dig it. Have a great time with World of Warcraft, and yeah, nice to see you in the chat again, Gypsy. I do hope life's all good and everything's well, and I hope you have a great Christmas and New Year. We can say that now. What's the date? Is it the 20th yet? I think it's the 20th tomorrow. Yeah. But yeah, thanks so much for popping in, Gypsy. Nice to see you again. All the best until I next see you online. Take care of yourself now. I'm glad you enjoy. Glad you enjoy my little weird bit of music. I need to think a name of it. This is always the hardest bit of every stream, really. I find. It's actually thinking what to call these things.